You need to understand that the absence of self-leadership is demonstrated by reactivity, randomness, blame, and a victim mindset. I understand that this year has been challenging for many of you. I, as an executive coach, have worked with CEOs who were curled up in the fetal position, sucking their thumbs in their home offices because their plans for the year had gone up in smoke. And I had to coach them to stop being selfish and a victim and step up and lead their people because they were in much greater need and they needed to be leaders. So if you've had a struggle this year, I get it. You have my empathy. However, do you want to stay a victim? Because success is accepting the reality, making adjustments, and advancing towards your objectives. And it starts with taking ownership of yourself, particularly your self-esteem, your self-value. Because if we don't own our self-value, we allow other people to put a value upon us, right? Now, typically, if I was to do this face-to-face, I'd ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, what was your level of self-esteem today? And reflect on that right now. If you were to answer that question, I'm not going to ask you to put it in the chat box. Just reflect for a moment. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would be your self-esteem today? With 10 being maximum and 1 incredibly low. Now, I don't know what you wrote, but typically people will write between 7 and 8, sometimes as low as 5. Now, realize this is self-esteem, which means self-value, which means even if you gave yourself 8 out of 10, you are a 20% discount. You have discounted yourself. Now, people only value us as much as we value ourselves. Have you noticed that? Right? Now, if you walked into a shop and you walk in and you're just looking at things, and before you've even asked, the shopkeeper says, "Oh, I'll give you a 50% discount on that." Now, you might be excited about the 50% discount, but you'd also be going, well, if he's going to give me 50% discount before I've asked, he must not really value his merchandise. And it's the same with ourselves. You see, we are human beings and human doings. And people confuse human being, who I am as a person, and human doing, what I do for a job or what I do in the world. Now, many of you are parents. And if you're not a parent, you've probably seen a baby. You know, those small little people, right? And you know that we love and adore babies. And when I was in Vietnam, I noticed you have a very strong family culture. And in fact, when my children were very small, I took them to Vietnam and they were constantly looked after and loved by our Vietnamese hosts. So I know that you know that a baby is valuable. But what can a baby do? Nothing. They cry, they pee, right? And that's it. Because we value them not because what they can do, but who they are, their pure potential. But then what happens is that baby grows up and goes to school. You grew up and you went to school and you learned to judge yourself. And you started comparing yourself with others. Oh, Sarah can run faster than me, or Simon is better at maths than me. And that's when we started to discount ourselves. Now, what you do can be compared. How much you sell, how much you research is measurable. But who you are is beyond judgment. And when you accept that your self-esteem is the reputation you have with yourself, when you know that you are valuable, you won't allow yourself to be discounted by others, regardless of what is on their business card, what is their title, what is their position. As a human being, the CEO of your company is no more important than you. As a human doing, the CEO of your company has more influence than you, and therefore that is immeasurable. Now, you want more influence, start with valuing yourself and then developing your competencies. When you do that, then you can look at confidence. Confidence is about your human doing. What are you good at? What are you skilled at? Now, confidence, I have to say, is not walking into a room thinking you are better than anybody else. That is arrogance. And I know with 20 years living in Asia that we value humility. But confidence is not a lack of humility, right? Arrogance is a lack of humility, and confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance is walking into the room thinking you're better than somebody else. Confidence is walking into the room being the best version of you. Now, when I say walking into the room, that can be into a chat box, right? It can be walking into a WebEx conversation. Look straight down the barrel of the webcam at the person you're speaking to and project confidence. Because confidence is the secret sauce to influence, right? When I needed some surgery on my shoulder last year, I needed my shoulder repaired, I asked the surgeon, "Are you any good at this surgery?" And he said, "I'm the best in Singapore." And I said, "Very well, you can operate on my surgery." But reflect, what if he'd said, "I'm kind of okay at this"? What would you do? You'd get a second opinion, wouldn't you? And I want to finish with an inspirational quote. This is from a poem called Our Greatest Fear by Marianne Williamson, and it was used by Nelson Mandela at his inauguration. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. Don't fall for fake humility. Humility means being grounded. Be good at what you do. Add value always, and you will be influential.